All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I'm glad to have two fellas with me this morning who have driven all the way from somewhere down in Georgia. And they're here because they are both veterans, and this is Michael Olson and Albert
Roberts.
Roberts.
Yes, sir.
And they are producing and writing a movie about veterans, except you're doing it from a different perspective. And I want you, Michael, to sort of tell us the difference in what you're doing, because you're the writer and director. Both of you are veterans.
Right.
I would say almost everyone who's going to be in this film is a veteran or a family member that's been involved with veterans, and that's the reason this film is so different, because it is about the family.
Yes, sir. I decided to take it from a perspective that's never been done before. I decided to take it from the family's point of view. Now, don't get me wrong, there's been plenty of great war films, but there's never been one that just focused on what happens to the family once the soldier deploys, whether it be a female or a male soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the angle that I think, or I thought when I wrote it, would be an interesting angle to take it from, because there's never been a film that showed what happens to the family and, the struggles and the trials and the tribulations that they go through while they're soldiers deployed.
Right, and excuse me, and what also happens, I would guess, when the soldier comes back.
Yes, there's the whole issue of PTSD has been ignored in my opinion.
For all those people out there who might not know what that means, I would hope not, but there is. So explain what PTSD means.
PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. It is a psychological disease or defect that predominantly affects soldiers who have been in the battle.
Right.
Now, people in general who have been through traumatic experiences also get PTSD, but it's more relevant because of what this country's been through for the last 14 years.
Right.
Since 2001.
Well, this whole situation has been happening for years. It's basically coming to light more because of the Afghanistan and
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that's going on over there, and we all need to face it. Our communications now, I mean, instantly we know what's going on around the world. Back in the Vietnam days, it wasn't that way. Back in the World War II days and the Korean days, it wasn't that way. Now we have instant communication and instant understanding. Something happens around the world, we know it, within minutes, and it's shared, and social media has a way of getting this out in front of everyone. So all the dirty laundry's out there.
Sure.
Where it used to be hidden.
Right.
But it's not hidden anymore.
Yeah.
The dirty laundry's out there, and we hear more about the families and how these families are affected, and how you pay the light bill when the other person's gone.
Exactly.
Sure.
The spouse, whether it be male or female, is left to assume the responsibility of both mother and father. Especially families who have two or three kids. The family in my film is a mother and two daughters, and the mother, she's your typical Army spouse. She's strong. She's strong-willed. However, when she gets the phone call that her husband has been injured, she's not told how. The information is not given to her, and that's typical of what happens when a soldier is injured in battle.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a great point because, John, you talk about, we live in this microwave society now where the information flow, literally everything is in place to find out what we need to find out instantly. Well, we as veterans, we were always where we were told to be 15 minutes early, standing at parade rest, ready to get started. But the funny thing is when we get out, a common problem that we are trying to address through this film, one of many, is that we have a platform where this information can flow and should flow, and yet whether it's a spouse finding out that there's been an injury and they're not telling, is he alive? Is he dead? What's happening? The ability to convey that information is there. It doesn't happen. We come back. We deal with some of these alphabet soup organizations like VA. The platform is there to file a disability claim quickly, but for some reason,
Takes 3 years to get something done.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what we're trying to make an awareness. And during that 3 years, whatever, for a claim to get settled, you got a veteran who has lost a limb and can't work and is trying to survive and still support a family that also is hungry every morning and night.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah. So.
And the thing that is difficult for me to fathom in that situation is, the person who goes and stands on the wall and says, I'm going to stand here where you can go to the t-ball game with your kid or dance lessons, and the government, when these folks come back, the government cuts their benefits. The guy who's 30-year military comes home and can't afford the house he lives in because the property taxes have gone up. So what happens to these guys and girls who come back? Are you going to address that in this movie as well?
Yes, I am. The first half of the film focuses more on the family element, the wife and the two daughters, and the loneliness that the wife feels, the emptiness that the daughters feel because their father's not there for whether it be a school event or something that.
Meeting a boyfriend.
Yeah, meeting a boyfriend. Little things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas the second half of the film focuses more on the PTSD aspect, because it's not a well-known fact that spouses also suffer from residual PTSD because of what their husbands have gone through.
Right.
And a lot of soldiers, active duty, retired, whatever, we walk around with this gung-ho attitude, oh, there's nothing wrong with us, we don't need help, when in all actuality we do.
Well, it's sort of like telling someone, you teach someone how to kill,
Mm-hmm.
you teach someone how to be strong. It's sort of like professional athletics. You tell a guy, you go out there and you destroy this human being, but oh yeah, by the way, when you hang your uniform up in the locker and you walk out on the street, you can't touch anybody, you can't speak to anybody in a harsh manner. How do you turn that switch on and off?
Sure. Yeah.
It's
hard.
very few people can do that.
It's hard. I mean,
and if you're fighting for your life, everything you do every day, and you made a very good point. The military operates because people do what they're told.
Right. Yeah.
They do what you're told.
Mm-hmm.
You stand in line. You're right here. Is it an order? I'm giving an order. I go to it. Do you question the order? No, because if you question the order, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So you go do. Well, when you walk away from that, all of a sudden there's nobody giving any orders.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you're free to whatever's in your mind, and how do you deal with that?
And you still
how
got that programming
away?
to execute as directed.
Right.
So yeah,
right.
It's a great point. And in a lot of ways, war is just a big fat mess. We've still got boots on ground over there, but one of the underlying reasons that we are so passionate about Unsung, the Forgotten, is because the war continues for so many people. It just does.
Right.
The film, Mike based the film when he wrote it on several different aspects of his personal combat experiences, his battle buddies coming back, and the veteran and the family member who lives and works with the veterans are going to watch this film, and they're going to have a little piece of ownership in it too. It's as real as it gets. This movie hasn't been done before because it's not a glamorous portrayal of that war. Most of what we know, we go to the theaters and you see some CGI and some bad guys getting shot up. That's not what this film is about. This is really truly the ugly, difficult to watch side of it. And another point, yeah, absolutely.
This film brings those outside the military to the inner circle that is formed around
our family.
Military families.
Yeah, which you're a part of too, John. So thank you for your service too.
Yeah.
You as well. And I forget what movie it was. I was watching recently where the wives, particularly one wife, was the one who delivered the death notices to the different wives in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
we were soldiers.
Yes.
Yes.
What a
based
brilliant
on General Hal Moore.
What a brilliant movie.
Amazing.
But that shows how involved some of these women get to the fact that they didn't like the way the mailman was just throwing this on the porch.
Absolutely.
And so they took it upon themselves to go deliver the information to the wives because they knew how they would feel.
Right.
With this type thing going on, and that's the type of compassion that the Wounded Warrior program. And I know to some military people, the fact that wounded, doesn't make any difference whether you're wounded or not wounded. A warrior's a warrior, and a warrior I'll be. But the Wounded Warrior program is doing a lot of good. There are other programs out there that are trying to help our military people when they come back home. And we all, veterans, non-veterans, whatever, need to support these projects because that's the only way they're going to get supported. The government funding is really hard to come by for some reason for things like this. And so, it's one of those things to learn who your neighbors are. Go out in your neighborhood and find out who your neighbor is, and if they need a meal, take them one.
Absolutely.
Find where your veterans are in your community. If they need help, you be the one that helps them. Don't wait on Uncle Sam or the Fed or somebody to come help your friend who has made a sacrifice for your freedom. We all need to take it upon ourselves to be neighbors and friends and comrades.
We force a lot of difficult issues with this film, too, because as we were chatting earlier, veterans currently serving military personnel and veterans alike, we don't want the extra attention. We're not trying to we don't want people to buy us meals because we're in uniform at the airport. We don't want all that stuff. We just want to do our job and just be quiet warriors. But now that this is happening, that's out the window for us because our lead actor in the film, Andrew Sullins, he is an amputee. He lost a limb in Iraq. And this is his first time acting. So the reality of all of this is just going to come through. And, Andrew didn't ask for this. We came to him and he had to think about it. And some of the scenes we've already done it's really intense for him because it's a deeply, deeply personal and very real situation. So we feel like now in our capacity as filmmakers, it's our turn to kind of force this issue. Whether people want to see it or not, that's their choice. But as you said, what we would ask people to do to support us is just talk about Unsung. Just share the trailer. Just talk about it and just support our veterans.
All right, well, let's see this trailer's ready. Let's go to that right now.
Coming soon comes an epic story of the heart. Together, they found the courage to take an unforgettable journey for honor, for liberty, for hope.
We got back from Vietnam and we got off the plane. They stared and they cussed us, called us every kind of name. Although we fought for our country.
And when do I get to meet this Brandon?
Well, I was thinking of inviting him over for dinner.
Really?
But of course, that's after I ask you out.
Well, I think maybe we should wait till my dad gets back.
No welcome home. They should have called us heroes.
A test of courage, a triumph of will.
Is my husband alive or dead?
We just did what we were told down in that old foxhole. They treated us worse than the ones we fought. They all turned their back, God only knows, and never should have been like that. It never should have been like that.
A hero gone unnoticed.
Of course she's listening. Where are you going? Do you have any idea what you're doing to this family? And how much
Do you know what you're doing to the girls?
I'm raising them by
I'm raising the girls. And I'm trying to heal. And you're not doing anything but trying to push me off the edge.
I'm trying.
What are you trying to do to me?
Get some help.
Yeah, I'm proud to be an American, even when they wasn't proud of me. My blood still runs red, white, and blue in the land of the free. And there was no welcome home. What we did, they said was wrong. They gave us orders, we took lives. After all we sacrificed and cut to the bone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense right there. And I mean, but it's stuff that needs to be seen.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
You have a couple of shout outs here before we get through?
Yeah, Charlie Allen, country music singer Charlie Allen. That's why we're here in Tullahoma and Manchester, Tennessee. He helped get us here in front of you today, and the song that you just heard in that trailer, No Welcome Home, was sung by him, and there's a good chance we're trying to get him to appear in the film too. So again, thank you, Charlie Allen. We really appreciate it.
Charlie's been hanging out around some movie folks here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Recently, and of course Charlie's a friend of ours, and Charlie and I have written some stuff together, and good for him and good for you. What's the timeline? Do you have a timeline on this? And if so, how do we hope that folks like us can be able to see this?
Absolutely, yeah. Mike had this set up so that everything, we were very careful to get the right cast and crew, and we're fully cast now. We are just leaving the pre-production stage. January, we roll into production, and it is coming out early 2016. It will definitely be a limited theatrical release, but the more, as we mentioned earlier, John, the more people talk about it and get a buzz and share our links and just tell people about it, I really feel confident that I can make the writer and director's vision of this film being in theaters across the nation happen. But at the worst case, it's going to stream everywhere. But we would like it to be somewhere where people can take time off and go sit in a seat and watch this. So.
And my ultimate goal is and I've told you this since the beginning, my ultimate goal is to have a release date of March 20th, which is the anniversary date of the start of Operation Iraqi Freedom, which I was there. So a lot of us were there. So, that's my goal.
Y'all need to hustle then, don't you?
Yeah. We've got a tight schedule. Everybody's ready. The actors are ready. They're just waiting on us. So we're just making the rounds.
Well, we need to get you out of here. We've taken up too much of your time.
It's been a true pleasure. Thank you so much for your hospitality.
Well, you're more than welcome, and I hope you Now, where you're from Atlanta?
I'm from Atlanta, and Mike is from Phoenix City, next to Fort Benning, Georgia. Yeah,
Right,
he's in
that's-
Alabama.
Which is where We Were Soldiers was filmed.
Cool.
There you go.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go. All
And
right,
people
we're
can look
mighty
up
glad to have these folks
Facebook.
on here.
Yeah, Facebook, Unsung the Forgotten. Look us up on Facebook.
Okay, guys,
Yep.
thank you
Yep.
very much.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate your service. Thank you so much for your service, and thank you for bringing this to light.